start so that nobody will start passing rumors. This is not wool. I don't wear it. This is not wool, it's brass. Alhamdulillah. It's not working.
It is. Yeah, little higher.
Is it working?
Yes.
الحمد لله وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Today's interaction, today's presentation, the way we will benefit from today is trying to understand that title that we put for last week, for today, it could be next week as well. We don't know how long it will take because it is an open-ended topic. It says, what does it entail? It's a big word, I'll explain, okay? What does it entail to be a Muslim? Can someone explain that to me, please? I'm confused. What does it mean? Entail. Who chose that word? I did. What does it entail? What does that mean? What does it take to be a Muslim? And I believe last week I asked, whoever would like to go and write down their thoughts. What does it take to be a Muslim? Who is a Muslim? If I say now, okay, please don't be upset if I come to you and ask you, okay, because I'm going to pick and choose, okay? Are you ready? No, before I come close to you, I would like to see a smile on your face. What about you? Are you smiling? That's not, it's a fake smile. Come on, give me a real one. That's better, that's a real one. Look how she's smiling, look. Now she's smiling. Now she's smiling, let me see. Are you smiling? Yes, 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 yes. When I turn my face, you stop smiling? Are you smiling in the back? That's why I don't want you to be in the back. Come and sit here. I'd like to see your smile from a close range. Okay, it doesn't matter if Michael smiles, he's an old man, so we don't really need. You're old too, don't look at him.
But Michael have a beautiful smile.
Okay, now, can someone tell me, what does it take to be an engineer? Yes? Studying a lot?
Lots of math.
But you did not give me the answer. Well, to be a dentist, you study a lot. To be a lawyer, to study a lot. So you didn't give me a specific answer when I said, what does it take to be an engineer?
Study engineering.
Yes.
Average in high school to go to a university with
But
engineering.
still, that's what your dad told you, so don't. No, I want, yes, what does it take to be an engineer? Not a doctor, not a lawyer, not a plumber, not a carpenter, not an engineer. You have to love to be a doctor as well, so you didn't answer me. Yes.
You have to get a professional certification.
So does a medical doctor.
Bio.
I want someone to tell me, what does it take?
Engineering degree you need.
You can study engineering books.
To complete that degree.
In
5 years,
engineering.
yeah.
But you didn't answer me, brother.
Okay.
You didn't answer, yes, what does it take to be an engineer?
You need to implement or know the baseline knowledge, the body of knowledge for the engineering, and apply this knowledge, be able to apply it during your practice.
Still, can we ask an engineering professor? Let's see if the professor will give us the definition. What?
It's not a close one, so I'll say you have to understand the physics of the problem, be able to design based on those physics, and be responsible for your design.
And the function of that. That's, I would say this is 80%. Not that I'm not an engineer, but I would like, by hearing a definition, to get as close of an understanding as I can to what the title entails, to what does it carry. Okay, now there are many things in life that are very difficult to describe, to define. One of them is, what does it entail to be a human being? At one time, actually, if I sit down and I start to think about it, I will come up with many things. What does it entail to be a human being? Is it empathy? Is it intelligence? Is it care? Love? Is it so many things? Okay. What does it entail to be a Muslim?
It's a very
Yes,
good-
sister. I'm sure we will. Okay, what does it entail?
I said in Arabic.
Say it in Arabic, I'll translate.
من سلم المسلمون من لسانه ويده.
You spoiled my talk. I was coming to that in 15 minutes.
She's done.
No, she didn't say anything. She was just talking to herself, so you didn't hear anything.
You don't know Arabic anyways.
Next time you sit in the back, please. Okay, I'm coming to this, inshallah. Okay, but what's the best definition you can come up with when I say, what is Islam? Or what is a Muslim? Yes? But this is what you have, these are the pillars. You started with the one in the middle. But I would like to translate what you said into a definition. Definition. Okay, sorry. As you were talking, she said something, and I caught that because this is what I.
Want to hear.
Okay, I will expect. You said submission. Can I, because I usually, when asked what is Islam, okay, especially when I talk to a non-Muslim group, they are not familiar, they want to know, so what does Islam mean? I tell them Islam is attainment of inner peace through full submission to the will of God. And they say, I asked you for one word, you gave me a lecture. Islam. Attainment. Attainment is to really acquire, to get inner peace, feeling good, by submitting, giving everything, all your worries, you will give to God and say, God, you take care of me. So because you are God, I am peaceful. I feel so peaceful because you are going to take care of me. This is the definition of Islam. Now, and when we talk about what does it take to be a Muslim, I'm sad to say that the reality is, out of people who say we are Muslims, they don't have to say it, but we know maybe 96% we know do not have inner peace. They don't feel peaceful. They don't feel relaxed. They feel tense, actually more so than others. So the rope that God told us, keep holding on to it because it will get you to God. It will get you to Jannah. It will get you to where you want to get that ultimate peace. Keep holding on to it. When we are not peaceful, it means that we have left that rope. We are not holding it. We are not holding on to it. Yes.
Because what I think in last 5 days about when somebody asked being a Muslim, we are confused in two things. And one is, some people we think that way, that we need to follow the Islam, we need to live 14 years back,
1400.
1400 years
Yeah.
back,
Yeah.
and then it's practically.
So that's what they think.
They think. And the other
Why
thing-
do they think that way?
Because the reason they didn't study the Quran in depth, that what I learned, even we just pick a one topic, is qatar, like when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said.
Before we get specific,
Yeah.
you said about people who want to become Muslim.
No, the people who ask us what is Islam.
So
and
these
we-
people who ask us are not Muslim.
No, they are not.
They are not.
Yeah.
So, and you said the reason they think Islam will take them 1400 years back
Yeah.
is that they did not study the Quran.
Yes, in
Now, sister, no, okay, let's stop here. They are not Muslim, and they want to know about Islam, and they think Islam is this because they did not study Quran. How many among us who were born into Islam have studied the Quran?
Yeah, that's my next point. Because our generation, not mine, but the next one, they are not taking it seriously. This thing.
Why?
Because they are confused. They want to think that these all application, all the rules came for that era. But we cannot separate modernity and deen separate. We have to take it together. Like, it doesn't mean that if you are wearing hijab, you can't be modern and you can't apply psychology or engineering or doctorate, because we are confused. That's the basic what I understand. We need to learn Islam. If we need to know everything and we want to have a very 100% faith on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the order book in Islam, in Quran, we need to study in depth our Quran.
Sister
Then-
Sadia, can I, you present certain understanding of Islam. I'm going to move to someone who looks young,
Yeah.
who is going to get to the future with plenty of hope, inshallah, and ask her if she is confused. Are you confused about Islam? You're not. What does Islam represent to you? What is your faith based on? Why? I'm not going to ask you how old are you. You are young, okay? But you said you have faith, okay? What is it based on? Do you know everything about Islam?
Not everything. I know.
Do you know enough?
Yeah.
So did your knowledge produce your faith, or your faith made you study to get knowledge about Islam? What came first? That's confusing. Okay, I know that. So think about it. If someone knows the answer, what came first to us as Muslims? We were born into Islam, except, Brother Michael, you chose to become a Muslim. Okay, now I will ask you, because your answer is very important to us born into Islam. But first, those who are born Muslim, what came first?
Faith.
Your faith or knowledge of this deen? What came first?
Faith. We take it granted that we born in a Muslim house.
Who? Okay, tell me. Knowledge. So you got to know about Islam, and as you knew more, your faith in Islam is becoming stronger. Do you continue to get knowledge about Islam, or you know everything now? I'm glad you said that. Okay. So now let me just. I know you don't get upset with me if I know your father doesn't. Okay. So I'm going to tell you something. Your answer seems to be ideal. You know what's ideal? It's picked. Because you know that when I hear this answer, I'll be so happy. Okay. I want an answer that is not ideal. An answer that describes exactly how you feel about Islam, because, I don't want us to maintain this idealism, and then at one point, if we are struck with something, we lose our faith. I want something that really is practical. Now, what comes first, faith or knowledge, to build our Islamic identity? What is it? Yes?
I don't think either one comes first. You kind of struggle between the two growing up. You learn a little bit of, or you have a little bit of faith, which leads to a little bit of knowledge and vice versa.
Okay, now, just because I really want your voice to be heard on the camera, I want you to come and repeat what you said, because I don't, come, because what you said is so important. Come here, okay? Just say it, what you just said.
I think both faith and knowledge are a struggle, and you kind of get bits and pieces of each one, and as you grow up, they come together, and either one comes first.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, we are living in a world today where forces of goodness, forces of evil, come together, and you don't know at times, because the forces of evil may look so appealing. And then some people who really like those things that are appealing, they may follow these things without thinking. And by the way, when you like something appealing, you don't think about it. During certain seasons that are, in the Western world, we jump from one season to another, until you get to Halloween, and then Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, and then Valentine's Day, and then St. Patrick's Day, and then, all of that. And the market around us make these things so appealing. How many people think about the roots of Halloween? Halloween now is candy, right? Okay? Christmas is Santa Claus and taking a picture with I've seen many Muslims take their pictures in the lap of Santa. Okay, and the mothers are so excited, and the fathers too. Okay, we don't think about it. Okay, not that I am saying, leave everybody. No. But we've got to have that, you called it struggle, but I will call it search. We search for our faith identity by acquiring knowledge, and sometimes by acquiring some knowledge that is really so fulfilling. Our faith will go up. And then, if at times it takes a longer time before we can continue to know more, our faith may, and this is what Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, that faith goes up and down, so that while we are living in this life, we will live a dynamic life. We will feel that we are what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called us the best of His creation. Mountains don't think. Rivers don't think. Elephants, we say, are the most intelligent among animals, okay? But we are by far, God called us the best of His creation. But how can the best of the creation of God do what they are doing? And now I come to what you said. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in a hadith that is rated as agreed upon, meaning that, the two top narrators of hadith, Bukhari and Muslim, both of them agreed that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said this hadith. He gave a definition. This definition, which you will hear, you'll say, yeah, I heard it, okay, I will try to translate. If we say that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ defined a Muslim as, you'll say, oh, but how come? How come? Okay, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, Al-Muslimu man salima al-Muslimuna min lisanihi wa yadih. And he said, wal muhajiru, so many other things. He said that true Muslim is he or she who other Muslims feel secure, okay, from the result of using his or her tongue or hands. Now these are symbolic, the tongue and the hands. They mean whatever he or she says, whatever he or she does, okay? Now, today, many people understand this hadith the wrong way, and I'll tell you that, sister, since you mentioned it, okay, كيف تفهمي هذا الحديث؟ ليش طيب المسلم من سلم المسلمون? What about other people? So we say that it says that the Muslim is he or she whom other Muslims feel secure from the result of using his or her tongue or hands. So what about other people? But it says Muslims. Any thoughts? Yes.
Because their goals are aligned, just to show off, where someone else might not have the same final goal as you.
No. And I know by saying no, you will say, oh, well, why did you say it so abrupt? It's because we're family, okay? So, no. Yes.
I think we can get rules from just one hadith. We have so many other narrations.
No, but this hadith is very clear if we think about it. Anyone who would like to think quickly, because we cannot wait. Yes, Ahmed.
I'm going to give it an attempt, but I would think that if you cannot, even for your brothers and sisters, if they're not safe from you, then this is pretty bad, because we need to be good to everybody. But even if your brothers and Muslims don't feel safe or secure around you, and that's a sign that you can't even be good to anyone else.
No.
No,
You gave it a try.
yeah.
Okay, let me, yes.
Muslim in Arabic, salama, is anyone that doesn't harm people.
Yes.
So it's a general term.
Yes.
So it can be generalized as a term.
Yes, but the Prophet said, okay, it is he من سلم المسلمون من يده ولسانه من لسانه ويده.
Yeah.
So it is, the Prophet is saying that.
I believe the meaning is that any man salima, whoever doesn't harm people. That's my preference.
Okay, no, I'd better get right into it. Okay. Now let me explain that the Muslim is he or she who other Muslims will feel secure from the outcome of his speech or her speech and the outcome of his or her actions. Okay. Now, today we are seeing the examples, many examples that show the true meaning of this hadith, what the Prophet actually meant. Now, we know today that Islam is being judged by the actions of Muslims. And now, the reason I'm looking at you is that I want to come to something you said, because I did not forget, because I asked a question and I'm not deviating. I'm coming to what you said. You said, but they did not study the Quran. I doubt very much that Brother Michael, when he wanted to become a Muslim, he did not start by studying Surah Al-Baqarah and Surah Ali Imran and Surah. You didn't do that, did you? No. Okay, we will hear from him. Nobody, okay, will get into the depth of the scholastic domain of anything unless you want to become an academic, okay? So when you wanted to become an academic engineer, okay, you had to really get to the bottom of it, okay? Now, nobody does, unless the scholars. But people today who are not Muslim are judging Islam by the actions of Muslims, and as a result, because the actions of Muslims leave a lot to be desired, okay, I'm not generalizing, but even one Muslim is too many to cause a wave of anger, and all of a sudden we are seeing parties, political parties, formed on a platform to cause harm to Muslims. So the real Muslim will not say something or do something that the non-Muslims will take against Muslims and indirectly start to harm Muslims. Did we get that?
Yeah.
Did we get that? So if you want Muslims to be secure and safe, as a Muslim, you have to be careful that you live your Islam so that other Muslims will have no reason to harm Muslims or harm anybody, because Islam came to humankind. Did we get it or not? Shall I explain it more? Unfortunately today, we are seeing one example that really drove me through the roof. A person got to know a revert through one of those sites where people meet each other for the purpose of marriage. He lives in a certain country, I'm not going to name the country, and they decided they want to get married, so he came to her country. She was so excited, and before he came he said, I cannot see you directly, so bring a mahram with you, someone who is related to you, and bring someone who's going to make our nikah ceremony right at the airport, because she was so impressed, that this person could have abused that religion. She said, Islam is wonderful. So she felt so good. And she brought an imam to the airport. They did the nikah at the airport, and the person stayed with her 2 months before all of a sudden one day she looked for him, he disappeared. And he sent her a note that, I had a 2 months vacation and I really spent them in a halal way. Every time I just repeat the story, I just, but it happened. This woman is writing and she's saying, my attachment to Islam is shaking. But she said, thank God for a taxi driver that restored my attachment to Islam. Allah, has His own ways of dealing with our faith sometimes. She said that one day I was in a taxi and I forgot my bag in the taxi with my wallet, with lots of money in it, credit cards, everything. And I said, that's it, I lost it. Until, a few days later, I had a knock on my door, and this taxi driver, who happened to be a Muslim, came and he said, this is for you. And she couldn't believe it. And she said, let me give you something. He refused. He said, no. I did not do it for the money that you will give me. I did it because this is the right thing to do. I am a Muslim. And look now at the definitions. What is happening? Man salima al-muslimuna. This sister, when I say a revert, I have to be protective, because these are the people who make conscious effort to come to this natural thing that is called submission, attainment of inner peace. They discover it. Now, if they discover someone who is basically climbing on a rock, and then someone is really helping him with the last laps, and that person now is standing, and then you don't go and then push that person back into the
danger world.
danger. You don't do that. But there are Muslims who do it. Michael, can you please share with us, if you don't feel like it, it's fine, but if you can, come here please and share what made, because you told me your story, what made you choose to become a Muslim?
Thank you, Doctor. Well, I it started like a lot of Westerners. I was a Catholic, and I had left the church 40 years ago. Very unhappy with what the church was doing, so I left. But there was a void in my life. I missed what I had been taught, and that was my relationship with God. I looked at several other religions. I looked at Buddhism. I looked at various Christian religions, but they all fell short. But along with what you said, I had a friend, a doctor, who inspired me as a Muslim. I was impressed with him, so I thought, I want to know more about it. And after 9/11, I was like a lot of Westerns. My attitude was, let's go over there and bomb those guys. But I thought something's wrong. And I started doing some research, and I was listening to Imam's talk on the news about how that's not Islam, that Islam is not about dropping bombs and killing people. So I started to do some research. And it started with me trying to read the Quran. And I have to admit, I was confused. I totally thought, I don't, and please forgive me, but my reaction was, this must have been written by somebody on drugs or booze, because it doesn't make sense to me. So when I went to my friend, the doctor, I told him about it, and he said, come to my house on Sunday night and let's talk about Islam. And I did. When I got there, he asked me what I was doing, and I told him. He said, well, first let me tell you this, that you're reading not a good copy of the Quran. It was just a cheap translation and no commentary. He said, the place to start is with the life of the Prophet, peace be upon him. So he gave me a book and gave it to me to read. And then he said, what you need to do is get a good copy of the Quran with a commentary and study that. But read about the Prophet, peace be upon him, first. So I went away and I thought, okay, I'll get at that. But I let it drag for a few months. And to make a long story short, I eventually read the book and I was inspired. And then I began reading the commentary and I got more inspired. And then in about, in fact, I remember the date, June the 24th of 2017 was my daughter's wedding. And that was the day I had my last drink of alcohol. Oh no, I think I had a drink after that once. But I had made a decision that I'm going to explore this Islam. But I didn't want to just jump in this thing full bore and say, I'm going to be a Muslim. It doesn't work that way. So what I did was I started deciding to practice my life as a Muslim. And if you knew me, you'd know I'm very organized and I do things from my business background. So I laid out a plan for 6 months. And I said, I'm going to explore this Islam until December, end of December. At the end of December, if I think this is for me, then I'm going to become a Muslim, but I'll have a go, no-go decision at that point. In a way, I started studying and I set myself a curriculum. Every day, I spent 4 to 6 hours a day. Being retired gives you that time. I spent 4 to 6 hours, and I spent an hour on each subject that I decided were important subjects for me to understand. And I began to build my knowledge, and I did that in October 13th, 2017, I took my Shahada. And I have not stopped studying. I still study today. And permit me the time?
Please.
You asked a question about what it makes to become a Muslim. And here's what I decided.
Yes.
It takes ice. You have to have ice in your heart. You have to make your heart hard and firm. And what it means is this. I stands for intensity. You have to be intense about your Islam. It's not something you can just sort of say, well, I'm not going to pray this morning. You know, you have to be intense about it, and you have to be passionate about it. The next thing is you have to be committed. You know, I've met so many Muslims, and I hate to say this, but it's like you described. There are so many Muslims that I call buffet Muslims. They go to the buffet and they pick one of this, I'll do that, and I'll do this, but they don't want to do anything else. They don't want to do the whole thing. You have to be committed. I like the analogy or the metaphor of what I had for breakfast the other day. I love steak and eggs for breakfast. And there's those 2 beautiful eggs sitting on my plate and that beautiful piece of steak. And when I look at it, I think about it for a minute and I think, you know, that chicken was involved in my breakfast. She laid the eggs for it. That cow was committed to my breakfast. She died for it. That's what we have to be, that committed. That's for me. The last thing is enthusiasm. If you're not enthusiastic about being a Muslim, then go away, because your Islam will not last. It won't work. You'll never be able to hold on to that rope. You know, I think about it, and for you sisters, it's easy to tell if you're a Muslim, isn't it? We can see your hijab on most women, but for the men you can't tell. Well, you can. You just look at their hair, and if they're not, you know, if they've got hair, you look at their hair, and you can always tell if they've just, yeah, no, not enough. You can always tell if they've just done their wudu, so you know they're a Muslim.
Okay, your
right?
time's over.
Anyway, that enthusiasm, what it does, if you're enthusiastic about something, is that you get committed to it. It's easy to be committed if you're enthusiastic. If I love something, I can be committed. If you're committed, it's very easy to become intense about it. And that's what it takes, and that's what I've tried to do.
When you have all these qualities, then you are going to be proud to be a Muslim.
I am.
Then, alhamdulillah, then you feel good when you are walking on the road, living in Canada, America or Saudi. You have to be proud on your faith, alhamdulillah.
And I just want to say one thing. You talked about Muslims being, you know, at peace with themselves and being an example to other Muslims. It was because of my doctor and him. He was an inspiration to me. Sorry to get emotional.
No. Alhamdulillah that, you know, I was hoping that Michael will mention something about inspiration, and he did. Because each one of us, when we move through life, we should be, you use the word enthusiastic, if we become enthusiastic about who we are, what we do, then we will be an inspiration for countless number of people. But if you don't really care, you said it, but if I say it, they will blame me. Get away. Okay, don't just raise a flag, but don't be part of the citizenship of that particular flag, what it really entails. You know, thank you so much, Michael. I really, I got inspired by you now. Okay, and you know, we will continue, inshallah, that revert, you know, you got my email this morning? Yes. Okay. So inshallah, things will move fast, bi'idhni ta'ala. Okay, yes.
First of all, we are proud of you to be Muslim, and we are here to help also, to be one community. One more thing about inspiration, and the doctor who led you to this, it is ad-din al-mu'amala.
Yeah.
Ad-din al-mu'amala. Whatever you treat people, this is our religion. It is, if you are good, people will follow you. You know, if you are evil, sorry, not you, so people will run away and start talking about it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's very simple and straightforward, and this is how it is. That, you know, if you make a mistake with someone, don't. I'm just using an example. It got so. Okay. If you do something to someone who doesn't know anything about Islam, but knows you are a Muslim, and if that thing strikes a bad chord with that other person is not going to judge you. Will judge Islam. So what are we doing to our deen? And I say to our deen because each one of us is an ambassador. Okay? If you are hidden somewhere in a mostly Muslim landscape, I shouldn't say this, but I'll say nobody cares. You will not do much damage. No collateral. But if you will go to a school where everybody around you is mostly non-Muslim and you are one among few Muslims, if you do wonderful work, I tell you, everybody will say, you know, and I mean it. You will do lots of goodness. So please, What does it entail to be a Muslim? It entails that you really need, Michael, you put it straightforward. Very few people think this way. If I ask, okay, how many parents have children right here now? How many parents? How many parents? How many parents? Many, many. Okay, Amir, I'll ask you. Maybe no, you're the wrong person. Have you put an effort to teach the life history of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to your children? Yes or no? So you are the wrong person. But the reality is, many parents do not put the effort to teach their children who is the person who got the revelation from God. Who is that person? How authentic, how credible. Because you wanted to know how credible this person is, because you in the beginning you said this is written by. So, but then when you got to know that person, okay, you said, oh, there must be something that is happening here. So please, I will say, if you didn't do it yet, we need to start familiarizing ourselves, our children, with the life of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. We need to know it. Okay, and I refer you to my series, which I gave right here at the Islamic Center. It's on YouTube, okay? And I keep repeating this because I would like you to go and visit that wealth of information, inshallah, that should become education. Okay, we don't want it to stay information. It's called Know That Man, the life of Muhammad, peace be upon him. It's on YouTube, Know That Man. So, and the address is, it's on the website too. Okay, so it is just basically DRMUNI, my name, okay, .ca. So you can access it there. Get the family together and watch an episode on Friday night. Okay, invite your extended family. Get to know who Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is. Now, by the way, if you are wondering, I thought these are mine.
Then we are going with you.
Are you telling me to stop?
No.
Okay, because I was going to say something. One of the sisters, please, you can identify yourself, came to me last week and she said, I come from, the other end of town and you only make the talk 45 minutes. That struck me pleasantly, by the way. So I am answering her request. If you feel that it is too much to stay till 2:30, you may choose to leave if you want. But for the sake of the sister who came from the other, corner of London, I'm continuing till 6:30, inshallah. Okay, so you want me to give these? You have. Can you get me? There is a little cube that I brought with me. It's in my pocket. And okay, I want to ask a few questions. But until then, I hope that now we know that definition of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that we really need. We have no choice if we want to give the right image of Islam to come back at us with pleasant outcomes. Then please be a good Muslim. Let me ask you, how can you be a good Muslim? By following the 5 pillars of Islam. That's good. Okay, but since you are in the back, I like all those intelligent young people to come. Yes, thank you so much. Come closer. By the way, do you mind if I say something about him? You don't mind? Okay, as a father, come here. Come. Yes. I'll charge you with trespassing. Okay. Inshallah, no problem. I tell you, his parents told me something about him that made me very, very proud. And, what they told me is that, he has been identified as a gifted student. And those gifted students, they get special training, and they, so we should try to point our children in that direction, inshallah. But that doesn't mean if you're not identified as gifted, then you're no good. No, you may be gifted in arts. You may be gifted in good manners. You may be gifted. You told me that to be a good Muslim, you have to live the 5 pillars. Is that what you said? Okay. But I want more than prayers and fasting and you don't go. Okay, stay here. Stay here. Okay. So you really need to translate that into action. So you wanted to say something, to add something to how can you be a good Muslim? Don't look at me. Look at everybody. Come here. Okay. And I'm not going to give you this. I'm not asking you because I gave you one last time. Okay.
Wait,
So
you did?
I was testing him. Okay, no, I'll give you one. Okay.
By following the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Do you know the sunnah of what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did?
Not that much.
So you have to ask your dad, okay, to start, sharing, his life examples with you, and you can watch, that series that I have on YouTube, inshallah. Better than playing PS4.
And I don't have a PS4.
Do you have an Xbox?
No.
Do you have an iPhone?
I just have an iPad.
An iPad?
Yeah.
What do you watch on your iPad?
YouTube sometimes.
Sometimes. Good YouTube?
And sometimes I watch the stories of prophets.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
MashaAllah, 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 MashaAllah. Okay, now you can go.
Okay.
But no,
I honestly don't care.
you don't care?
Yeah.
Okay. No, come here. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, I have this. This is an intermission. This is says سلسلة المعلومات الإسلامية. These are questions. So I'm going to Islamic questions. I will just pick one. Okay, and now, true or false? You may wipe on thin socks if you want to do wudu. You may wipe on thin socks when you want to make wudu. True or false? I've given you one before. So, you want to answer? You think I forget? You think that you are banned for 8 weeks? You think I forgot? Okay, I want someone to grant her forgiveness because she's banned from receiving any of those for 8 weeks. I want someone to say it's okay, you can, someone who's an uncle or an aunt.
I forgive her.
Are you sure? Are you sure? You're forgiven. Okay, so what, is it true or false? True? Huh. MashaAllah, MashaAllah, such an intelligent answer. I'm not saying that you're dumb, no. But I love the way you said it. Because if it's not true, then it's false. If it's not false, then it's true. Okay? Now, because the answer is known to everybody. It is not true. You cannot do that. The socks have to be thick.
And above the ankle.
Yes, and they have to cover above the ankle. Not like your socks today. I don't know why. Are these socks?
No.
You see, I look at my kids and say, what are these? Say, they're socks. To me, do you want to see how far my socks go? Come, I want to show you. I don't want anybody else to see. Look, keep looking. I'll stop here because, they reach here. Okay. That's what socks are all about. Okay, mashallah, you can sit. Okay, now another question. Okay, I asked a question, but don't answer me because you answered me already. Okay? Who's your father? Where's your father? He's not here? Where's your mother? MashaAllah, 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 MashaAllah. Okay, so you already answered me, so you're not going to answer this. Okay, I asked a question that a believer may have certain qualities that are not so good, but there's one quality that a believer cannot, a bad quality that a believer cannot have. He cannot be, you took one last time. So let me see, you took one, I'm not going to take your answer. You took one too. So, yes you did. Are you sure? You didn't get one? Last time? So if you know the answer, a believer cannot be a what?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
You said the girls next time, so you said next week.
You're right. You're right. But you see, the girls that were there, okay, are they here today? Or they went to the classrooms? Okay, I'll take from there as well, but not you. Okay, I want someone younger than me. So a believer cannot be a what? A believer cannot be a liar. Never, never, never. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Okay, now another. True or false? I didn't hear. Look. If you will answer it wrong, you will be banned again for 8 weeks. Right. And no one can remove that. Do you agree? Do you agree? Yes or no? Yeah. You agree? If you do not, because you raised your hand, okay? So you'll be banned for 8 weeks. You agree? But if you answer correctly, you will get the last one I have, okay? What question? No, you said true, and then said no, you said false. So this is now how it goes. So you want to answer this question? True or false? Now, the title, mother of the book, is given to Surah قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. True or false? Mother of the book. I feel bad. I feel bad. You see, the thing is, I'm not going to ban you for 8 weeks, but I'm not going to give you the coupon. You have to think harder. You said false? Okay, I'll give it to you if you tell me which surah then is the mother of the book. No cheating. Which surah is the mother of the book? You can ask a friend, or you can call a friend. You don't have a friend? You want to ask somebody? Okay, ask somebody and you can share the nuggets with her. Who? Which, if it is not Surah Qul Huwa Allahu Ahad, that's the mother. Who told you that? Not her. Not her, because she... Who told you the answer? Who told you the answer? She did? I'm going to stop the lecture right now. It is Surah Al-Fatiha, the mother of the book. Okay, now, it's okay. Can somebody, Naji, okay. Can somebody help him to, okay? It's okay, Habibi, it's okay, don't worry about it. It's okay, don't worry. Yeah, he looked tired right from the beginning. Yes, he looked tired. It's okay. It's okay. Can somebody try to helping to clean this? Yeah, I think we will end right here. Okay, and I'll appreciate any help in cleaning this, inshallah. We will see you next week بإذنه تعالى. سبحانك اللهم. I will ask them and then I let them answer at the same time, inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر صدق الله العظيم.